Welcome to the controversy. Nani? I was hesitant.
Guys, let me tell you about this movie. Because many Saudis who watched it said it insulted Saudi Arabia, and besides, many Egyptians also. The Egyptians who watched it were maliciously laughing at him, like walkers who, quick, let's get out of here. And here, as they say, everyone is venting and using this movie as a way to justify and support themselves. I'm here to watch the movie objectively. I don't care about political interpretations, whether it's somewhat despicable or an element of racism among people in both countries. Whether this movie is good or not, it's a God-light film, basically. I will talk about a true story based on the life of an Indian man. He lived a poor life in India. He traveled to Saudi Arabia to build a dignified life for himself, his pregnant wife, and his mother. The man literally sold his property to travel to Saudi Arabia. He put his house on the line for a loan to get the money and the tickets they needed in Saudi Arabia. And indeed, he got the ticket. Wow. The Saudi traveler believed he would live a dignified life working for a company, thinking they would treat him well and he would stay in an air-conditioned room. I got it well, but was surprised when his sponsor sided with the regime. Tariq. They take him to the desert and his friend throws him over there. Another friend comes along, takes our hero inside a tent to tend to the sheep, and he sits there.
3 years
Biometric
of King
identifier
Abdul's
of
reign.
monsters and humans. If he made a mistake, the Saudi Bedouin would hate him and always call him to meetings with insults like dog or Indian. So, no, man. You jerk, you idiot. This actually happened. This means that it was real. Although it was in the movie too, I'm telling you this genuinely happened because they were in the desert, their water usage was limited. Thus it was soft and gentle. Taking a shower used to mean just rinsing himself off. When he would shower with sand, it meant he was sleeping next to insects and reptiles, or even in a car. The man's isolated, feeling alone, neglected, not even taking care of himself. Personal hygiene and the genuine treatment he receives. He always felt like he can't escape. Where would he go? He decides to make this the real story that never happened in the incredible film. He's raising them. Put them down. They call them by some tame names. And the names of the names of his friends and his words, all to avoid being killed by loneliness or falling into depression. He loved cats and treated them like family, literally down to the last day with them. The caffeine in this is released. And he travels here. Our friend takes advantage of the opportunity and he runs away and then returns. The homeland is fine, something happened, the truth didn't come out in the film, and the opposite is the first thing in the film. It was made very clear that the sponsor who kidnapped the Indian guy is the hero. It's not our sponsor, it's his. This Saudi man, a desert nomad, kidnapped him to make him a slave. In fact, the Indian men traveled and came back. He doesn't know if the sponsor who was with me had kidnapped him or if it was his sponsor. It wasn't mentioned. He traveled to the country and ended up in detention. That he is really his sponsor. He's writing a message saying that many Indians who travel there stay and they disperse in the desert helpless and unnoticed with no one to ask about them and no power. The Indian government is concerned because a large source of its income comes from Indian immigrants, those who travel to a Gulf country. So they are not asking about the citizens. Honestly, Salamat Allah doesn't come for free. It doesn't matter if they act the same as they do outside. As you say, he wants to honor the sacrifices of those who died in the Gulf. After the harsh and poor treatment you've given him. The Saudi sponsor. Okay, does this film really insult Saudis? Saudi or not? In basic terms, he is clearly showing a state. I've never seen a respectful Saudi man who is not respectful. And mentioning his name divides it in the movie. He said the movie is amazing, and it really is literally amazing. If it gets nominated for the Oscars, there will be some serious excitement. The man lost about 20 to 30 kilograms for these roles. This scene where he's wandering in the desert is among the greatest acting scenes I've ever seen. Although sometimes there are Fatou and Maini and Nine and